Good morning and welcome to Sunnyside News, where we bring you only the most positive and interesting information from the heart of Florida right here in Polk County. Today is Friday, August 28th, 2015, and I would just like to welcome all of you to our program once again. The first story that I want to bring to you this week is about Bertha. Bertha is a rabbit, and her pet mom, Melanie James, was just devastated when back in May, Bertha's hips collapsed and it left her unable to walk. James had very few options. The vet recommended euthanasia for Bertha, but James felt that Bertha was still so much alive, so she wasn't ready to let go of Bertha. "I've seen dogs in wheelchairs, so why not rabbits?" James said. So that's exactly what she purchased for Bertha. And so now, instead of hopping around, Bertha is now wheeling around. And James is also very hopeful that Bertha's condition will actually improve so that she will one day be hopping around again all over the yard. So hats off to you, Bertha, and to your pet mom. The second story I would like to bring to you today is actually about two kittens that were recently adopted from the Albrecht Center for Animal Welfare in South Carolina. And they were adopted together for a reason. One of the kittens, named Blinken, arrived at the shelter back in June, and it took the staff not very long. They quickly realized that Blinken was blind, so they had to pair him up with another kitten, and the other kitten's name is Hefty, and Hefty had been actually born at the shelter. So not only did the two bond very quickly, but Hefty became Blinken's guide cat, and the two are now inseparable. So hats off to the family that adopted both Blinken and Hefty. The third story I would like to bring to you this week is a very, very refreshing story. Oklahoma residents are thanking their mail carriers in a very kind way, and I'm sure a very grateful way. They are actually leaving coolers full of water, full of cold drinks and water outside for their mail carriers, and they're even leaving cheery notes for the mail carriers to thank them for all their hard work. Very much appreciated, I'm sure, by those post carriers. Another story I would like to bring to you is actually very heartwarming. It's about Georgia Bradley. She is a 25-year-old student from Plymouth University in England, and she was recently vacationing in Greece. And while she was on the beach, she was actually approached by two men who wanted to take her out for a date, and of course, smartly, she refused them. When she refused to go with them, they grabbed her arm, and a stray dog appeared out of nowhere and threatened the two men by barking at them until they backed off. "She saved me. She must have known something was wrong," Bradley said. Well, the dog followed Bradley back to where she was staying in Greece, and they had an instant bond. And it was so sad when Bradley was leaving, the dog ran after her car and was trying to follow her home. Both were very, very heartbroken. So, 2 weeks later, Bradley flew 6,000 miles back to Greece and found the dog. She named the dog Pepper and took Pepper back to England. Well, not that that's an ending. Shortly after she arrived in England, Pepper gave birth to 6 puppies. So all now have a great home, and I just think that is a wonderful story. So, bringing you the weather for this weekend. As you might be able to tell, it's already very soggy out here, the classic Central Florida summer weather. Today, Friday, there's a 60% chance of rain, and I can tell you we've probably already gotten that, with a high of 92 and a low of 73. Tomorrow on Saturday, the rain percentage holds steady with 60%, the high of 93 and a low of 74. On Sunday, there is still a 60% chance of rain with a high of 93 and a low of 74. And you can enjoy the pictures that have been provided to us this week by some of the children coming here to Nature's Place. And I think they have depicted the rainfall and the precipitation very, very well. I particularly like the one with the big sun, where it is showing the evaporation of the water back up into the sky to eventually come down as rain. The picture I would like to share with you this week is a picture, you all might have heard about it, but I think it's very, very worthy. Mei Zhang at the National Zoo in Washington, D.C. is a panda bear, and she actually gave birth to twins. this past week, and I think that's just very, very exciting. And the zoo staff is helping her care for the twins, and so you can see that they are very, very cute. Panda bears are still listed on the endangered species list, so what a great story. Talking about an event for coming up this weekend, tomorrow on the 29th at the Ritz Theater in Winter Haven. They are hosting the Brass Heart Band from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. and they're closing, this will actually close out their 2015 music series. If you want to find out more information, you can by calling 863-295-9900. As usual, I would like to leave today's episode with a quote for you, and that quote goes as follows. Wrinkles should merely indicate where smiles have been. And that was said by Mark Twain. So thank you for joining me today on this episode of Sunnyside News. Go out, have a great weekend, and I will see you next week. Bye for now.